We love two phones, two emotions.
What you said? I got two phones. Hey, what Kevin K say?
We got two phone baby Chris in the building too.
I'm scared of you.
No, I'm terrified of you, Chris. Legitimately. Hey, terrified. Shaking in my boots. Shaking in my darn boots, boy. Shiver me timbers. This is a bad guy.
You're not really scared of me, Gibbs, are you, bro?
Hey, listen. I'm just you my mans, bro. You my mans. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that, as to not have to, under the threat of perjury, as to not have to, take the stand falsely. But anywho.
Hey, I would never call either one of y'all to the stand. Y'all wouldn't tell the truth, but y'all would not lie. Y'all would be like, Judge, the question you are asking
don't
me.
call me to the stand. Chris, don't call me to the stand. Don't ever call. Let me extend that out to Josh. You too. Don't ever call me. Don't ever call.
I ain't got nothing to call you to the stand for, man.
No.
If you facing some real deal.
No. I'm talking about like me. I would never do nothing where I face some real deal. But what I'm saying is, for y'all two. If I had to, let's say I just get called to the stand and be like, is Chris a good person, right? Y'all too.
Oh, to be character witness? Oh, don't do that either. Don't call me a character. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Chris, all those people you work with that know that you as the guy who increases efficiency and all that, and you would call me to the stand? Chris, come on. Come on.
But,
I'm
Mr.
a
Guy,
good person,
do you
though.
think that Chris has a high, high level of integrity? I'm be like, hey, yo. He say, hey, yo, in court.
Yeah, you absolutely can.
That's how I would invite y'all to the stand.
Again, I would just start rapping random songs so I don't gotta lie. I'm not like, as soon as is Chris a good person? Big protein, you know what I mean? 150 grams of protein. You know what I mean? Hey, stop playing me. I'm the best dressed. Count the cowboy and all that. Like that's just what's going on. Cause I'm not doing that, Chris. I'm not finna lie to you like that. But let's get into this question of the day. All right. This is a would you rather where there is no happy ending to this. But you gotta pick which one you gotta go with. Your biggest op, the person you hate the most in life, the person that just disgusts you, the person that is just like to your core, the Dinkelberg to your Mr. Turner, the person that you is forever up and stuck with gets $20 million, or you got to be homeless on the other side of the world. And actually, I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna take it down from a year to 9 months. 9 months being homeless on the other side of the world. You speak the language wherever you get placed. However, you can no longer speak English. So English is to you what their language was before. And same to like if you try to speak to anybody in English, you can only speak your language. So
easy work.
Which would you do?
The 20 mil. Only because my biggest enemy don't know that we enemies.
Really?
Yeah. The person I hate most out of anybody in life is my cousin. And I've said that multiple times. And he still think that we cool. So like if he had 20 meals, he'll throw me a couple racks.
That's crazy.
And I say that with the utmost sincerity.
I feel it. Chris, which one you taking?
Well, my babes, brethren, I thought you was on my side of the spectrum, but I got a lot of hate in this here heart. And if my op got 20 mil, I don't know what I'll do with myself. I'll be sweating. I'll be pissed. I'll be like on top of my roof, like, do I jump or do I sit? I'm gonna be pretty flustered. Okay, I would gladly be homeless for 9 months because I'm gonna go hustle and at least give me something to eat every day. I'm gonna hold up that sign on the side of the road. I'm gonna go sweep the floors at McDonald's without even having a job there and say, "Hey, just give me $10, man." You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do something, man.
But you're on the other side of the world. They got different costs of living over there. You're gonna get a slug. Like,
okay, I mean, like I said, I'm just gonna. If I need to go get 10 slugs for the day, I'm gonna go do something to get 10 slugs. You feel me? I have a work ethic out this world.
See, when I was thinking about this question, I was thinking like, who do I hate most in this world? And then that's when I realized like, I don't really hate nobody for real. Like, I don't have nobody that I like have mortal beef with. I got people that I like dislike, I got people that I don't respect, but it's not anybody that like I'm like, bro, like I really don't like that guy. And the only person that I could think of when I was in that mode of like hating people at that level, who was the person or the people that I hated? The first person I thought about was my pops. So like, yeah, give him the 20. Give him 20 mil. Give him 20. Yeah. Like, my bloodline just got richer.
Chris got a good father. He cannot understand.
He do not. He be looking at me like, bro, what? Like, what's the thing?
Bro, it's both of y'all. It's both of y'all today, bro. Y'all both just hating y'all family today. Like, what's going on, bro? What's going on?
I mean,
like,
if you understand me and my pop's dynamic, like there is like, I have grown past like that towards him, and now it's like more so an apathy thing. But like I had to think back to like the person that I hated most, because like I don't hate people who like think differently than me. I pity them more often than not. Like, oh, you're dumb, or like, oh no, your dumbness is gonna hurt somebody in your family one day. Like, oh, that's not smart. But like you gotta give me a good reason to hate you. And like my pops, I'm 28 now, and like he's still like he been finessing since like literally my uncle called me. And me and my uncle rarely ever talk because this is his brother. He called me. It was like, your dad is almost 60 years old, still out here conning people. And I'm like, oof, your brother hates you too. Like you've earned a lot of hate in this world, my brother in Christ. Like there are lots of people who do not like you as a human being. So like it's, you know, now Josh, why do you not like your cousin though? Because that's rare. It's rare. Like most people, it's like either they love their cousin or they're like, oh, they kind of weird. I don't really rock with them. What happened?
Well, one, the first part of it is super petty, but this stuck with me for like forever, right? So it's my 10th birthday. And when I was a kid, I rarely got like birthday parties and stuff. I got a birthday party 1, 5, 10, and 16. That was it. Mm-hmm. So it's my 10th birthday. My parents went all out for it. This was still when my pops had some bread. And in order for me to come out with my fit, I had on the suede baby blue and gray Fat Farm headband with the baby blue nugget. This is 05, okay?
This your high top days? Or
this is 05.
No,
this before that. I had braids.
I'm not laughing because the fit crazy. I'm laughing because I know how hard that fit went in that day. When you start off with that, I know how hard that fit went.
I had the baby blue Nuggets mellow jersey.
Acting unruly.
With the matching suede shorts to match the headband. Y'all remember the baby blue Jordan 17s?
Oh, you was looking like Bow Wow in Johnson Family Vacation.
I was fresh. I was fresh.
Ooh.
So my cousin came or whatever. He was just wearing, because my cousin got a little brother. They like a couple years apart, but they parents is kind of like got a couple screws missing. So they always used to dress them like they was twins. So they came like in these matching like plaid like button up short sets, right? And you know how I am. And my older brother is the same, so he came in that. And me and my brother got the sting in him immediately. We got the sting in him immediately. He was like, hold on real quick, because he stayed up but a couple blocks away. He was like, I got to go get something from home. He came back. Why this man had the same fit I had on, but with an Iverson jersey. It was like slightly different because he had like the official like fat for. He had like the baby blue like Foot Locker headband on. But still, he was trying to stun on me on my birthday.
Hey, honestly, I'm not like, I can't see having beef with that long for your cousin, but I see the vision. I see the vision. I see the vision. I see it. I see it. Like, nah, bro, that's crazy. That's some nasty work.
It's been stuff since then where like it's nothing to have beef over, but it all stemmed from that moment. So you know that one person in your life that once they annoy you, everything that like they could be like good morning, and you're gonna be like, oh, saying good morning again.
Bro,
that's him.
Bro, the other day, when my op called me, talking about please. I'm like, bro, stop saying please to me, bro. He's like, I'm asking for a favor. Nah, bro, I don't got it. Nope, I can't help.
Why does your op have your number, Chris?
Right.
What's going on?
Because if I could say my op, y'all would be like, okay, that makes sense. But I can't say my op.
Okay, all right. We go keep it loaded. We gonna keep it hot. We gonna keep it hot on this show. This show is not about incriminating nobody, so we gonna keep it quiet. But we got a lot to talk about. Because speaking of criminals, Ja Morant suspension is about to be dropped, and boy, I heard they're throwing a whole book at that, brother. But before we get to that, we've got to talk about the Denver Nuggets winning the first championship in the history of Denver basketball. The first NBA championship actually, no, they don't have an ABA championship either. So the first basketball championship in the city of Denver's history. We've got to talk about Karl Anthony Towns because apparently Pat Bev believes he's the best big in the game. And somehow he thinks that what the Wolves did is more impressive than the Nuggets. We'll discuss what type of drugs he's off a little later. And we have to talk about all things Madden 24 because it's about to drop. And I know that the ladies was getting real excited talking about, ooh, it's no more sports every day. LOL, wrong. EA might have pushed back that college football game, but guess what? Madden's still on the way.
Joke's on you, ladies. I watch baseball.
Ah, that's nice. hey, can I just tell y'all, that's how you know Guyton hates his shorty. Hates her. Because you'd rather watch baseball. My brother in Christ.
Hey, that is wild.
You would rather hope that somebody turns a double play in the third inning?
We played baseball. That's a little different, though. You know
Listen, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. I understand playing the sport. Watching that is crazy. Like
as much as I love baseball, watching the entire televised game,
and I was just about to say, not
wild,
in person.
Bro.
In person, that's cool. In person, you got the atmosphere.
I go to plenty of baseball games.
Yeah, you got like and they dirt cheap. You could be sitting like right behind the home plate for like what $200, $300 if it's the right game. Like
whoa. I ain't paying $200 for a baseball game. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, well, see, and I'm the bad guy for saying that you hate your old lady for watching the televised version over kicking it with her. But we got to get into all that, and that is the beginning, the tip of the iceberg, because we're also going to talk about basketball discourse and what the hell has happened. Why do basketball fans hate basketball so much? Y'all ready to get into the show, fellas?
I'm ready for it.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait.
All right, well, let's get into it. What's up, y'all? Have a seat. It's your favorite hour over at Axe Crew. We got the master, the mixer master, Josh Guyton in the building.
That is I.
The money man, the master plan, Chris Allen in the building.
I'm here.
And then you got the little old MC. That's me, Ken Gibbs. Now, folks, the Nuggets won their first ever championship. And let me ask you this. What did this championship teach you or show you in terms of watching this thing unfold from the start to the end of the finals?
What it taught me is that I don't know how to phrase this, the era of the super team as we know it is officially over.
Really?
Yeah, as we know it. Because if you think of super team, you think of you think of, the Warriors adding KD, which is an isolated incident. I don't think something to that extreme will ever happen again in our lifetimes. When you have somebody who's a former MVP joining the best team in NBA history.
Right.
But I think those aging superstars getting together through free agency, approaching their late 20s, already being into their 30s, and getting together to win a championship with a minimal supporting cast. Because even the ones that we saw, of course, players stepped up because they were playing around great players. But if you look at those Miami teams, you had Chris Bosh, who was all NBA. You had D Wade, who was first ballot. But the fourth option on that team was probably Mario Chalmers. When you look at, that Boston team, the fourth option was Rondo, who turned out to be a greater point guard than any of us ever expected. But I think those stars getting together and, it being an instant championship, those days are gone because I think the NBA is getting so skilled from top to bottom with a team like Denver that it's going to be plenty of more teams that we see and a lot more parity we see in the NBA throughout the next decade, the next 2 decades, that they're going to follow this Denver formula. Even if you look at younger teams who are putting things together, that are drafting, building a team young, a lot of them look dangerous. If you could see, OKC having a similar run to Denver a few years from now, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'd be very surprised.
You would be very surprised if this Denver team currently comprised grew together, because this core in Denver is low-key been growing together for about 6 years now.
I'd still be very surprised if I saw that out of OKC.
5 years from now, Chet, Giddey, SGA, You don't see you don't think they're in the championship picture.
5 years from now, how old is SGA going to be?
Late 20s?
28? Yeah, 28, 20.
Oh, okay. I thought he was a little older than that. That's my bad. But even still,
I'll fact check.
I don't trust.
Yeah, 5 years from now he'll be 28.
Yeah, I don't trust Chet. I just don't trust Chet. Now, granted, I haven't seen anything from Chet, and I used to be. I kept this one quiet because I knew that I was always wrong about bigs. I used to think that Chet was him, and then like the more I watched him, I'm like, there's something off here. There's something that just ain't on here. But yeah, I digress. Anywho, Chris, what is your takeaway from this finals, man? Talk to me.
Well, congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. I am a Miami Heat fan. I'm going to stand on that. Miami Heat in the East, Houston Rockets in the West. Everybody knows.
Boy, I know your job was cutting up on you. I know they was cutting up on you. Because I
No.
You went there with
You forgot where I
Heat.
live at. No, you forgot where I live at, though. So we still put them out. So, I mean, it was like.
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, but yeah, I came disrespectful though. Like I came heat shirt with the Heat snap off.
You came in Josh Fit. You came into Josh Fit. You had the headband, the D Wade jersey, and the red shorts.
Hey, Giz, I had the snap off Heat pants on, bro. The snap off.
No way.
I'm not
Yeah,
playing
are
with
you
them.
ready for this,
Bro.
I snapped them off and my work jeans was underneath, bro. My work jeans was underneath. I was not playing with them. when the Celtics lost that game 7, man. At the crib,
that's wild.
You know I was about to act a fool, bro.
The snap off pants are insane.
I bought them off Amazon and I wore them to work over my work jeans. I went to the morning meeting, our daily production meeting. Everybody was like, he bragging about his Heat. I'm like, what, me bragging? I'm not bragging about the Heat, you know? And then I snapped the pants off.
Oh my God, bro. Bro went into there dressed like a wrestler just to prove a point. That's crazy. Man.
But anyway, gang. Listen. What I got from this is, if you have a superstar player, and I don't care what nobody say, Jimmy Butler is a superstar. I don't know why everybody keep disrespecting him saying he's not a superstar because he didn't show up. Jimmy Butler 9 games before that ankle injury was a completely different part. Like Jimmy was off a beam. We thought Jimmy was possessed. Like I'm not blaming the ankle sprain because I thought they lose the series with a fully healthy Jimmy anyway. They just didn't have enough horses in the stable, right? I was saying Nuggets in 4 before the series even started, and they won in 5. So I mean, it wasn't that far off. But what I want people to understand is it don't matter who you put out there on that floor, right? With the right coaching, the right culture, and the right discipline and focus, you can win basketball games in the postseason, right? The Miami Heat are not even a top 10 team on paper. Not even a top 10 team on paper, if you look at the NBA. You got Phoenix, you got Denver, you got Cleveland, you got the Lakers, you got Golden State, you got Boston,
Milwaukee.
You got Milwaukee.
Philly.
You got the Grizzlies. Philly. You know what I'm saying? If they 10, they barely 10.
On paper, the Kings are ahead of them. On paper,
the Kings are ahead of them on
too.
paper.
Yeah.
They are not even a top 10 team on paper. So what this tells me is it ain't about the players you have. It's about how you utilize everyone to their best ability, right? Now, Gibbs, in the regular season, you did a good thing last episode. In the regular season, the Heat shot 1%, and they increased that percentage in the postseason because they play for the postseason. They practice for that. They get excited for the postseason. So that's my take on the NBA Finals now is you don't need all these superstars. So just like Guyton said, I think the super team era is dwindling. However, this offseason, it's a guy named Kyrie Irving, Bradley Beal, and Damian Lillard that I think going to change that and make it super team era again because one of them three going to be out of there. It's never been this much talk of superstars moving like this. Like literally Kyrie is like openly saying, like, who you think released the news when Kyrie said, I want LeBron to come to Dallas? Like, Kyrie released that.
Well, like I said, the super team era ain't over because, LeBron could always end up with Luka and Kyrie.
Okay, that's not super team.
Of course not.
That's not winning the ring. That's not beating Denver.
Hold on. Y'all are unwell. Are y'all serious?
No,
I didn't say it's not a super team. They're not beating Denver in the 7-game series.
And they're whooping the wheels off Denver. Are y'all
No,
serious?
they're not.
A healthy Bron, a healthy Kyrie, and a healthy Luka are not beating.
Who's going to check Jokic?
Gibbs. Pause. The reason that is a super team on paper, but the reason why I said it wasn't a super team because the last 2 years Kyrie played. He was healthy and he didn't play. So I mean, you're gonna count on Kyrie.
Yeah. But I'm saying if they're on the court, I'm saying if they're on the court together, that team beats they dog walk the Nuggets. What?
I'm still saying no.
Okay.
But, all right.
Anyway,
proceed.
that being said,
with the White Powell at the 5,
you can get your 5 cooked all day long. Sure, they're gonna have to come up with stops too. They're like Aaron Gordon can't check everybody. What?
I don't know, man.
You have Luka and LeBron on the same team, and here's the thing that y'all don't realize about Luka is it's a lot like what we didn't realize about LeBron until like literally right toward the end of that run with the Heat. We never saw what Bron looked like off the ball for long periods of time. Yeah. And then all of a sudden people are like, wait, he can shoot? When he's a catch and shoot guy, he can knock him down? What? What do you mean he's an excellent cutter? What? Well, granted, we already knew he was pretty good at cutting, but still. People learned about a whole different skill set that he had that folks didn't know. Luka off the ball sometimes, and you're talking. I ain't finna do this. I ain't finna do this with y'all today. I ain't finna do this. It's an if that'll never happen because Dallas has absolute squat, zero, zilch, nada to trade that the Lakers would be interested in sending LeBron for. But that team, I doubt that they lose to the Mavs. The Nuggets. They would lose to the Mavs, though, if Kyrie decides to not do his thing, because Kyrie beats every team he's on when he decides to. But anyway, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, and my last take is, let's pump the brakes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pump the brakes. Joker and Murray, Kobe and Shaq, like, come on now.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
Can we pump the brakes? Like, we acted like they haven't been in the postseason a couple years now. Like, they get their first little taste of a championship, and now the world on fire saying this is like the best duo we ever seen. This is like something we never heard of. Like, come on now.
Kobe and Shaq was so different. When they lost in the finals, like, it felt like the world stopped for a large portion of the basketball world. Like, it literally, like, if you here's the thing. At that time, I was real big into reading newspapers. And not only did I like look at newspapers, I looked at like national newspapers. Like, whenever I wasn't Googling things that I shouldn't have been Googling, because why would you put a computer in a 10-year-old's room? I was like looking at like different. I
wasn't watching 40 Ounce Bound.
Hey, you know what I mean? I did what I did. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I mean? I own that. My parents shouldn't have put a computer in my room. You know what I mean? Hey, you know what I mean? Shout out to my Dukes. I learned a lot from that. But anyway.
Giz is the one giving people a name. Hey, bro, you should try this one.
Listen. And they thought they set up the little blocker too. I said, oh boy, the proxy game goes stupid. It was stupendous. But seriously, I used to look up like national newspapers and all that, and like different newspapers in different markets, and like every market just talked about how devastating of a loss that was. Like no market was like, oh yeah, the Pistons win the championship, do great things. It was like Kobe and Shaq lose, Kobe and Shaq let down, Shaq no show, that type of stuff. That was what people were saying about that. It's not the same. If the Heat would have won this finals, everybody would be like, oh my God, where does Jimmy stand and all that good stuff. So, you know. But I'm going to tell you this. My takeaway from this finals is that the national media is very lazy. There were so many good stories out of this finals. There were so many good stories.
Yeah.
And none of them were explored at a high level. None of them. I've talked about this before, but imagine if you would have ran a story on, look where Aaron Gordon is now. What players could potentially be another Aaron Gordon and that their role is just too big on their current team? I can think about 5 players off the top of my head that are in very similar situations to where Aaron Gordon was with the Magic. If you kick Jaylen Brown down to being the number 3, he's the number 3 on the championship team. No ifs, ands, or buts
Easily.
about it.
Yeah.
If he's your number 3, you're a championship team. If he's your number 2, you may be cooked. And I mean number 2 in terms of ball handling. You may be cooked if he's your number 2 ball handler. You're done for. You're gonna run into problems. But as your number 3, hold on now. You're cooking with grease there. Not just him. There are multiple other players. Trae Young. If you make Trae Young a 2 somewhere, I think that he's a championship guy. I think that he's a guy that could get you to the.
Yeah, I fell off that bandwagon though, Gibbs, because he give up so much defensively, bro. Like
I agree, but that's why I say if he's your 2, your 1 has to add defensive value, and you have to have a good defensive front court with him.
Right.
But if he's your second option in terms of scoring and ball handling, I don't think that you win with him as your first. I don't think that. But if he's your second, I think you got a shot. Dang. If he's your third option at this point in time in his career, maybe second.
You said wait. You said who?
Damian Lillard. If he's your second or third,
You can't get Dame as a third option. He's still too valuable.
yeah, okay.
Bro, hold on.
All right.
Damian Lillard.
And it's not. Let me rephrase that. For Dame, it's not your third best option. It's your third best player as a whole. It's your third best player as a whole. Second or third best player as a whole. Dame is a dog.
You
I
can
give Dame
name
all the love in
teams
the
that
world.
can have 2 players better than Damian Lillard right now.
Yeah.
What teams are those?
If he went to the Grizzlies, he would be their third best player.
What?
If he went to the Grizzlies, he's their best player.
Hold on. Y'all are serious?
What?
You think he's better than Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr. at this point in his career?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Dame dropped 70 this year.
Oh my.
We watched Dame take this Portland team to the playoffs multiple times. Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson is not doing that.
Bro, we watched Dame. You're right. We watched Dame do that. You know what ED on the end of something means? It happened in the past.
Gibbs. Dame almost averaged 44 a month this year.
All right, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think we're missing here. Those 2 going this way. Dame going this way.
I agree with you.
We're not talking about going. We're talking about right now. The first game of the 2003-2004 NBA season.
And I'm saying
Damian Lillard is the best out of those 3.
From the first game of the 2023 to 2024 NBA season, if somebody was to tell me, I'll give you $1 million, and I'll give you this. I'll give you he's better than Jaren Jackson Jr. But Ja Morant, when he's not playing with pistols, what?
Bro,
you're playing.
Hold on, bro.
You're playing.
Do you realize Dame only played the amount of games he did because Portland was trying to shut him down to preserve him?
All right. So there's no team where he'd be your third best player. The Lakers.
The Lakers. That's probably the only. Probably the only answer.
Okay, there's not a team, and like I said, it's not about him being the first option offensively. I mean, player overall on the Celtics, he's not your second best player. Really,
We said third.
I said second or third. I started with third. It said second or third best player.
Because there's only one option for third.
But this what I'm saying. In terms of scoring, yes, Dame is going to be your number 1 or 2 on 90% of teams in the NBA. What I'm saying is player overall, Dame is mid-level defensively, if that. Like
if that, yeah.
I just
slightly
like
below average. If you ask me.
It may be 7 teams in the league that got a player on the team on a full roster better than Dame. It's 7 teams in the league right now.
But that's what I'm saying, and those 7 teams would become champions if they had Dame. Those 7 teams would undoubtedly.
Those 7 teams are already contenders to me. Without Dame.
Yeah, I agree. The Nuggets were a contender before Aaron Gordon got there. But do you see how much conversation is drummed up from this one conversation? And meanwhile,
because you said Dame as a number 3.
Okay, but hear me out. The national media said that this was the most boring finals ever, and there's no stories to cover. That's my whole point here. There were so many stories. There was a wealth of stories to be covered here. And also, even outside of Dame, Bradley Beal, that's a guy that could definitely have a conversation. Where does he fall
for sure.
in terms of, is he your second? Is he your third best?
We already
he should
saw
not
him
be
as the
nobody's
first
number
and the
one.
second. We already saw him as the first and the second.
But that's my point. There are players in the NBA that you can have this conversation about and make it fun, make it something that everybody can chime in on with their, like, there's so much there. There's so much there. There was so much meat on the bone. There's so much. Have we seen a player have a comeback in terms of from a more gruesome injury or from as gruesome of an injury to reach the highest mountain the way that Jamal Murray has. Have we seen that? Why not talk about that? That's a story. That's a big story.
True.
And what do we get out of that? What do we get instead? Why this finals isn't actually the most boring.
I've heard more about like the free agency and what's about to happen than I have the finals since Monday.
And that's my point exactly. And that's my point
say
exactly.
this. I say this, right? When you think about the landscape of the league right now, right? Denver is pretty set. Like they just won a championship. They probably not gonna really retool. If they do, they're gonna add some veterans, right? Phoenix, complete chaos.
Yeah.
Minnesota, complete chaos. I'm naming team.
No, Minnesota is good. They're doing impressive things at the level of winning an NBA championship for real.
Wow.
Golden State, Poole fell off a cliff. Draymond still hasn't been re-signed, right? I'm just naming teams that were in the playoffs. Sacramento, they still young. De'Aaron Fox hasn't shown us that he could be a number one on championship team yet, and Sabonis definitely hasn't showed us he could be number one on championship team.
Oh no, Sabonis ain't number. No, Sabonis is not number one on championship team.
The Lakers, LeBron's gonna be 39, and he's trying to give AD the throne, and AD is like, bro, I do not want this. I don't want this.
AD said, I got my chip. I don't know what y'all got going on, but I got my chip.
Listen. The Bucks, Drew Holiday is turning 37. People don't want to admit that, but Drew Holiday turned 37. Brooke Lopez is turning 36. Chris Middleton is turning 31.
They were the oldest team in the league last year.
Yeah.
The Celtics, I ain't paying Jaylen Brown that much money after that stink performance he put out.
But I was told that you gotta. I was told you gotta pay.
Philadelphia, Harden was miserable without no strip clubs.
He going back to Houston.
That I-95 bridge collapse was all he needed to see. He said, "Yep, I'm out of here. That's it.
Listen,
get me gone."
When you look at the landscape of the league, if you don't go get you a free agent this summer, Denver is the most stable environment right now. Denver is the most stable, and they are the team constructed to continue on what they just did this year.
That's fair. I'm also going to say this. One of my other big takeaways here, and we got to talk about this too. Basketball fans hate basketball, man. It's terrible. I don't know what's going on.
I think that's the case with everything.
NBA, but it's not though. It's not, because hear me out. NFL fans, when they talk about football, they love all of it. They love all of it. When you talk about the GOAT safety debate, right? When people talk about who's the greatest safety of all time, it's like, Ed Reed is my guy. I love Ed Reed, bro. He could cover anything. You name it. He could do it. He could return kicks. He could do everything. And then you got people like, nah, Troy Polamalu is it. He could play in the box. He could play deep. He could knock his socks off. And you know what those two groups of people would say to each other? Oh, man, you're right. He a dog too. The NBA fans, bro, oh, Jokic got a ring beating an 8 seed, 7 seed, and an 8 seed. Like, bro, what was he supposed to do? Like, what?
He's supposed to go race his horses, man.
All I'm saying is, you know, this ring really don't count for real, and da-da-da. Like, why? What happened to basketball discourse? What happened, fellas? I need y'all to help me out. What happened to basketball discourse? Because I've never seen it this bad. Like, even, y'all remember when we were growing up in the barbershop, it was like one old head that used to have the worst takes. Now it's like, it's everywhere. It's just so, the spread has been nasty.
Basketball discourse is as bad now as it always was.
Really?
The difference is those wild opinions that you heard from the one old head at the barbershop now got TikTok accounts. And if you like a couple of basketball videos, the algorithm gonna say, yo, you like basketball. So instead of hearing that one crazy dude at the barbershop, you hearing 9 of them crazy dudes at the barbershops in a row. It hasn't changed. The sample size is just larger. I use basketball fans now the same way I use rappers when I'm talking to old heads, because old heads is like, oh man, y'all got so many trash rappers. No, rap has always been trash. It's just a much larger sample size now. You can't tell me that in certain, because most of the rappers that old heads call whack actually got some fire. They usually say like, "Oh, Lil Yachty, you're Migos," and I'd be like, "You clearly not listening to the music."
If you said Migos is trash as an old head, like,
but they had Silk the Shocker. They just didn't have streaming services, so it wasn't 80 Silk the Shockers uploading TikToks. It's the same way now, because this for sure was old heads at the barbershop arguing who was the GOAT between Mike and Kareem. Or arguing, yo, who the GOAT, Magic or Mike. We just heard it in a much smaller sample size, but it's always been that way, and it's much due to the part that the NBA has spent majority of the past 50 years promoting the individual to grow their brand, as opposed to football. I feel like football promotes teams. There's plenty of football players out there who have very large names, very large personas, but if you ask the average person on the street, I guarantee you after this week, more casual people will recognize Aaron Gordon, who is a role player, than they would Justin Jefferson, who's a all-pro NFL receiver.
That's the wrong one. You picked the wrong one.
But it's kind of close.
Listen, he's the reason that grandkids. Yeah, he's the reason that like grandparents and little kids are gritty and like.
Yeah, true. That's true. Okay.
You
Jamar Chase.
But I agree.
More people know Aaron Gordon than Jamar Chase.
I agree. I give you Jalen Waddle for sure. Devontae Smith too. AJ Brown probably, and those are superstars.
I'll say this. Aaron Gordon probably has more recognition, just by the average fan over every player in the NFL who's not already like, I'm not going to say certified first ballot, but they're going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like we know Justin Jefferson is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Exactly.
I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm going to keep it a buck on this topic, right? I'm going to keep it a buck. The reason why is because the NBA is so easily marketable, right? All you have to do is do something, and everyone sees your face, everyone sees your shoes, and then you're on a commercial. We seen Blake Griffin jump over that Kia so many times, and then Blake Griffin didn't dunk for a whole 3 years.
Serge Ibaka got robbed.
Oh God, not a Serge Ibaka truther.
Bro, listen to me.
Nah, you're right though.
Go back and watch that dunk contest.
No, John,
his first dunk.
I remember when I watched it. When I watched it, I agreed.
Serge Ibaka got robbed, man.
Blake Griffin made off like a beige bandit in the night because he stole that trophy.
But my point though, Blake Griffin did that, right?
Yeah.
And we had to see it for 3-4 years, him and Kia commercials. Then he turns around, he didn't even dunk again in the NBA. It could have been a child support. That would be on my mind too. That would have been on mine too. That child support would have been like, I can't jump no more.
Honestly though, his child support kind of ain't nothing in comparison to how much you make. Like it's enough. Bro, it's a lot to us.
I don't care how much you make. You paying $250,000 a month, bro. That's
Chris,
tough, bro.
It's a lot to us.
Bro, Gibbs, $250. Gibbs, he make $30 million, right? And he probably make another $50 million endorsements. That's $80 million, right? If you divide $80 million by 12, what's that, Gibbs?
80 million. That's about 6 and some change, about 6.5 or so.
Okay, and you taking 250 of that every month.
Chris, 6.5. Ooh, I was about to almost lost our clean rate. 6.5. Chris, 6.5. Okay. Wait. Hold on. What would you buy every month if you had 6.5? Like, what would you do? What would you do if you had 6.5?
I mean, I don't. My lifestyle don't need 6.5, but I would probably.
Okay, but what would you do? Let's just say you had a different lifestyle. And that money was burned a hole in your pocket.
I'll probably just be buying gadgets and stuff like that.
Okay,
like toys, like ATVs, stuff, redoing houses and stuff like that.
Now that's 6.5, right?
Yeah.
Now Blake Griffin paying what? 258 racks a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll round it up to 3. What would you do with 6.2? What would you do? What changes? What changes from 6.5 to 6.2, Chris?
Nothing much.
That's what I'm saying. Like, That's like somebody taking $20 out of check, bro.
I'm gonna give you my analogy. Right?
Okay.
Right? Gives you know how much I make. I know how much you make. Ballpark range, right?
Yeah,
Right.
For sure.
Okay. Hey, would you say $250 a lot of money?
$250 or $250,000?
$250.
It depends on like every month.
Yeah. Like, would you say that's a lot of money?
Oh yeah, that's a lot of money every month. Yeah.
Okay. That's equivalent to us getting a speeding ticket. You ain't happy when you gotta pay a speeding ticket, are you? No matter how much. Exactly. You think Blake Griffin happy about kicking out $250,000 a month?
I'm not saying he's happy about it. I'm just saying he don't miss it for real. Like it's not like he be sitting there like
$250,000 to a woman you didn't even want to get pregnant gives you sick.
Chris,
that's on your mind every day, bro.
Chris, you gotta understand, like nothing in his life seriously changes because it's gone. Like nothing.
I agree with you. Nothing in me and your life changes when we pay a speeding ticket either.
Yeah, like, and I'm like,
keep it pushing.
But Chris, I'm not. A speeding ticket, it's not even the price that like annoys you. It's all the stuff that comes with it. Like you might have to go to court. You got to sign into that stupid portal.
I use that for a reason. Blake Griffin got to go to court. He got to deal with his baby mama. He got to pick up his keys sometime. That's the same principle.
Does he, Chris?
Yes.
Does he really?
He want to be in his kid life, bro.
Chris, no, it's not about whether or not he want to be in his life. He got enough money to where the lawyer go to court for you. 9 times out of 10, you don't actually have to be in person in those hearings.
All you doing is add more dollars to that $250,000. That's all you doing.
Even Chris, I'm not finna do this with you today, Chris. I'm not finna do this today with you.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what happened.
I'm
gonna tell you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what happened to basketball discourse. I'm gonna tell you why it got so bad. I'm gonna tell you because GOAT debates used to be reserved for like 2-3 times a year in barbershops. But it's not just the fact that we having GOAT debates. It's the GOAT debate combined with the 24-hour sports cycle. Those two got together and made the nastiest baby of all time. And I'm talking about a baby that's just pure evil. I'm talking about a little kid that bite people, got silver caps, and to tell everybody you're not my dad, even though the little baby don't even know they daddy. It made one of those. Let me explain to you why. GOAT debates became a daily thing. And like when it was like a once per quarter thing, like once every 2-3 months or once every time somebody broke a new record or did something crazy, you had to talk. It was like, well, I like Magic. Well, I like Mike. Well, this is what Magic did. Well, this is what Mike did. And it's like, all right, well, I think that Mike is better. Well, I think that Magic's better. And y'all go on your separate way, whatever. I have never heard people go out of their way as far and as hard to discredit the guy that's not their guy as they do now because you have to. Or else, like you talked about the algorithm will not push you if you say LeBron is 1 but Jordan's 2. Why? Because that's what everybody's saying. There's nothing exceptional about that. You know what the algorithm will push? LeBron ain't the top 100 player of all time to me.
You know what?
He don't got a back to the basket game, so the NBA took out all back to the basket power forwards.
You know what?
Do you hear yourself?
We got to get these numbers up. It's time to make some money on the Facts Over X pod. So with that being said,
Kareem is top 300 all time. The skyhook is overrated, and the ABA was separated from the NBA when he started, so all of his stats are fake, and all of his first championships got asterisks by him.
My GOAT is Luis Scola.
Oh, wow. Josh, you're going too crazy. That's too far. You're just going way too far. I thought we was making
but that's really what it is, bro. You can't go nowhere, bro. You can't go nowhere without somebody be like, you like LeBron? You like him?
And that's the thing. And that's the thing. It's too much. The GOAT debate became too much, and it's too many people that like. It's daily. It's every single.
Who don't even watch the games.
And that's my point.
That's what I'm about to say. And you know what's crazy? Like the acronym GOAT has been around for so long, right? Mm-hmm. Why is it just now being this? Like everybody's saying you the GOAT, you the GOAT, you the GOAT, you the GOAT. It's in every rap song. It's in everything now. Back in 2008. You ain't hear nobody talking about GOAT. You just said Jordan's the best player of all time, right? Like, or nobody better than Jordan. Yeah. I don't know why people, when they found out that greatest of all time was GOAT, they was just like, oh, I gotta use that. I gotta say that. I gotta do that. I gotta do that.
I'm telling you, if it wasn't for if you take away either one of those things, everything would be perfectly fine. If you took away the 24-hour sports cycle or the GOAT debates, everything would be fine. But when they got together, they made the nastiest work because it started with, well, if I don't like LeBron, I got to discredit him. Well, if I don't like Jordan, I got to discredit him. And it spread to other stuff. Because then when you said, all right, I'm going to discredit LeBron or I'm going to discredit Jordan, well, then I got to help out my guy's case. Well, how do I help out LeBron's case for being the GOAT? KD went and won 2 fake rings. Neither one of those rings count because he joined up with a team that was already supposed to win without him. Boom. All right, so now what have you just done? You've undermined KD, you've undermined Curry, you've undermined Clay, you've undermined Draymond, and that's what you got to do to do that.
Can I also say I've never heard like a valid argument for discounting one of these players in a debate?
I mean, again, it's to me when we had to talk about Chris Paul and Steve Nash, right? Nobody had to say like, oh God, like this player is terrible. He's not top this. He's not top that. Like we could point out like, yes, this was a huge weakness in his game. Chris Paul's player performance, huge weakness in his game, huge hole in his game. Steve Nash's defense, huge weakness in his game, huge hole in his game. But we could just point out this is their resume and that's that. If we had to talk about them every day, we would go back to Steve Nash was terrible in U19 basketball for Team Canada. Like,
dear basketball fans, one. Do you know why LeBron didn't have playoff success until, he had playoff success, why he didn't win a championship until 2012? Up until that time, his best supporting player was Zydrunas Ilgauskas. If you're not a diehard basketball fan, you probably recognize him from those My Team silver cards that you got playing NBA 2K.
But Antoine Jameson was an all-star before he went to LeBron, and Bron is a teammate killer.
Basketball fans, do you know why Michael Jordan was quote unquote 1-9 before Pippen got there? Because when Pippen got there, he was in his 3rd season. No player has playoff success before their 3rd season. Also, he was playing against the Pistons and the Celtics every season, playing on the worst roster in the NBA before he got there. Oh, and he was averaging 50 in his first playoffs.
But Magic won the championship his first year, so it's basically the same.
And Giz, I'll add to it. The third, so you said the 24 hours and the, what's the name had a baby, right?
The 24 hours and the GOAT debate had a baby.
Right. You know who else, what the other one is? That it's a triplet. The highlight reel era. This is literally, you see a highlight on Twitter? Oh, he nice. He did. People still to this day debate me that Jason Williams was good at basketball.
Jay Williams averaged about 7 and 4.
Hey, listen. Jason Williams was good. He just was like, he was too much of a loose cannon. He could never reel it in and like just play within the system. Just do.
People
Jason,
still
please,
argue
do
that.
what the system
I was just
asks.
arguing with somebody at work telling me, they was like, Jason Williams was better than JJ Redick. I said, are you out your mind?
Oh, well, wait. I was about to say,
JJ Redick was a 2 or 3 option on a NBA Finals team.
Hold on. I was about to say you in Boston, so it don't count that they love Jason Williams, but then you said over JJ Redick, so it kind of it PEMDAS. It cancel out. It cancel out PEMDAS. But yeah, no.
I was
okay.
just like,
Right,
he was like, bro, he was like, show me some highlights from JJ Redick, and I was like, that's your argument, like that's your argument. And
that's the way it works.
Highlight. Oh, you know what? You're right. Because you know what highlights bred. You know the baby that highlights made. Bag Twitter. That's what highlights. Highlights created bag Twitter. Because all of a sudden, bro, somebody really tried to argue with me with a straight face that Jamal Crawford was better than Andre Miller, and I almost deactivated my TikTok. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, bro, you dead serious. You like saying this with the straightest face.
But he got a bag, man.
All right, you're right. You know what? And when he did that little cross behind the back layup. They never let it go.
Pete. How many times y'all see him do that layup?
He did like 3 times. Once in he did it once with the Clippers, once with the Hawks. And I want to say, was he in Denver? Did he ever play in Denver?
Maybe.
Or was it the Knicks? Did he play for the
Knicks?
Knicks?
Yeah, he played for the Knicks for sure.
He was doing it he was playing for the Knicks and did it to Denver.
I feel like everybody played for Denver at some point.
Oh, you know what? He did to Kirk Heinrich too. So 4 times. Yeah. 4 times in his career.
Four times in his career. That's how often he did that move, and that's what they kept saying. He has the biggest bag in
Again,
NBA history.
I think here's the thing: the NFL could learn something from the NBA in terms of making their game more marketable. But NBA fans, please learn something from NFL fans. NFL fans do not like fight each other over like Deion is the greatest corner of all time. Nah, bro, Champ Bailey was better. Like, it's like, all right, you think this player is great? I think he's great too, but I think that this player is great, and that's okay. Like, football fans are so chill about that.
The quarterback position is getting like that though.
The quarterback, but you know what though? And here's the thing: as much as I hate Tom Brady, I'm glad that he had as much success as he did, because while I personally don't think that he's the GOAT, it's enough to where like nobody really has like a serious debate or argument or like hatred there to be like, oh my God, like this player's better. Like, and it's God, it's just so because like literally every problem with basketball fans right now can be traced back to one of those three things: the highlights, the 24-hour sports cycle, or the GOAT debate. Because you know what else came from that? Ring culture. And oh my God, this player's terrible because he never run a ring. All right, Clay. For those of you who are listening and not watching, Josh Guyton just did the 4 fingers, which Clay does every time Golden State is losing, which, very interesting there.
In Clay's defense, if I had 4 rings, I'd probably do the same thing.
I mean, listen, I think it's corny. I think it's whack, but I see the vision.
4 rings is not easy to get.
They'd be on the chain if I had 4
Bro,
rings.
honestly,
and I made
I wouldn't
$300
care.
million.
I wouldn't care. Where's ring number 5? That's all I want to know. If we getting blew out, you got us tonight. You got us tonight. But I swear to you, I'm going to do everything in my power to get ring number 5. I'm not going to be sitting on the bench. 4. Just to let you know, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm like
everybody in the league do that now though. Like
I'm like Dave Chappelle in that one skit. If I can have any amendment, which one I want? If I can have any ring, if I got 4, guess which one I want? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the one I want. That's the ring I want, man. I don't care about the rings I won in the past, bro. I want another one. That's just me personally. But let me tell you this: when we talk about rings, you know, apparently they're about as valuable as winning the play-in, according to Karl Anthony Towns, who is also the league's best big man, according to Pat Bev. Now, let me ask y'all this, because we know both statements are ridiculous and terrible, but which statement is more ridiculous? Cat is the best big in the NBA, or the Timberwolves winning the play-in or getting in via the play-in is as impressive as Denver winning a championship?
It got to be the play-in comment, because even though saying Cat is the best big in the NBA is ridiculous, and one, Pat Bev said it, so we're just feeding into what he had to say on top of trying to make headlines, which is something we just talked about. That's something that we should ignore. Right. But I feel like they truly believe in their hearts that what they achieved was as good as winning a championship. And I can't even grasp that thought, because it's a one champion at the end of the playoffs for a reason. And it's not like you were a team like if somebody said what Miami did was as impressive as first seed Denver winning a championship, it would be crazy. But at the same time,
there's an argument, though.
They made the finals with 7 undrafted players.
Yeah.
You have 2 All-Stars, 2 max players on your team, and arguably a third All-Star. We're just still going to have 2 All-Stars because Gobert's not making another All-Star in his life. Yeah. But you have 2 of the top 50 NBA, 3 of the top 75 NBA players in the league on your team.
I would say 50. I
I might say 50.
Players. You're not naming 50 players better than Gobert, Towns, and Edwards. You're not naming 50 players.
Yeah, you know, I would agree with that. They have 3 of the top 50 players in the world, and they barely made the playoffs, and then lost to the champions in 5 games.
I mean, can I say something real quick? Or actually,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna step in right here. The first statement is much more ridiculous.
Yeah, the idea I was gonna say the same thing, Gibbs.
The idea that Cat is the best big man in the game is much more ridiculous. And let me tell you why. The Timberwolves have a losing culture. They're not winners. Nothing about the Timberwolves says we win. And I'll take it a step further. And people gonna hate me for this, but I'm all right with that. Because I already talk about Boston regularly and how much I don't like them. Do you want to know the second city that I hate the most out of all the sports cities? Minnesota. Minnesota. You know why? What has Minnesota ever won?
They got
when's their last championship?
Now I'm thinking about it, it's kind of tough.
Let me get my Theo Von bag. Riley, look that up for me. Look up the last time Minnesota's won a championship. And look up a snail where they're not snails vote Republican. Look that up for me, Riley.
Wait,
look that up.
Lynx,
no, but seriously.
The Minnesota Lynx, they won something.
Okay. All right. In the 4 major North American sports, when's the last time? And no disrespect to WNBA. No disrespect to WNBA.
The Twins won something 20 years ago. Minnesota Twins.
Is that the most recent one? The Twins 20 years ago?
No, the Twins won in 91. Yeah, the Twins won in 91.
So, and I didn't know it was this bad. Minnesota, the city of Minnesota, outside of the Lynx, ain't seen a single championship in 30 years. But this is why I say that the first statement is worse. Because think about this. They've been losers for 30 years. The Vikings fans talk like the Packers or the Bears. The Bears and the Packers got rights to talk to the Lions the way they do because they got rings. The Vikings got the same amount of rings as us. Hey, y'all got the same amount of rings as us. I'm sorry to tell you this. Same amount of rings. So what are we doing here? With that being said, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, hey, the city just doesn't have a winning culture. That's just what it is. Whatever. But Cat being the best big man is crazy because there's a fun thing that measures the best players in the league. It's called an All-NBA team. Now, last time I checked, there were 3 of those things, right?
They are, yes.
Okay. Do y'all know who the 3rd team All-NBA center was?
Jaren Jackson?
Sabonis. Do y'all know who the 2nd team center was?
Jokic, I would assume.
Do you know who the 1st team center was?
Embiid.
Okay, so it seems from the outside looking in, the last 3 MVPs all played what position?
Center.
So it seems to me, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm smoking crack. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one puffing the magic dragon trying to catch that first high again. Because it seems to me like there are multiple objective measures of this is the best guy in the league at this thing, at playing this position. And he hasn't been it by any measure. How do we get here?
So I'm going to feed right off of that, Gibbs. And you did that was excellent. We got to clip that whole thing you just did right there because I'm going to feed right off of that, right? First things first, right? Patrick Beverly, y'all are not teammates anymore. And you made a comment like that. Y'all are not teammates. You play against that grown man every single year now until y'all on team again. The second reason why that statement was worse, Gibbs, they brought in another center because they were tired of you playing center. They were willing to pay luxury tax because they didn't want you playing center. And you're the best big man in the game.
You know what? And you know the other part of that? Isn't he allegedly on the trade block? Aren't they allegedly shopping him around?
It's been rumors.
I believe so.
It's been rumors.
Yeah, okay. All right. I'm just saying, there's no way. And here's the other thing that really blows my mind about that statement that he's the best big man in the game. Not only did you bring over another guy, however, one of y'all weaknesses as a team was interior defense this year. How? If y'all got the Stifle Tower and the best big in the game, how? How'd that happen? Explain it to me like I'm a 5th grader.
What was that one Will Smith song called? It was kind of popular when we was when we was kids. We was kind of probably like in 5th grade maybe.
Please don't say Switch because you're gonna make me mad. You're gonna make me mad.
You wanted me to explain how they had the worst interior defense.
You're gonna make me mad. You're gonna make me mad. And the sad part is I wanted to say get jiggy with it. Then when I heard you say it was about when we was 10, I'm like, please don't talk about that album. Please don't talk about that album. But I'll tell you this. With that being said, he's looking like he's going on the trade block. We can acknowledge both of those statements are ridiculous. But is it as ridiculous as Mr. Zion? Because now we can talk about you on the court. Now we ain't got to talk about you off the court. Mariah has been suspended from Twitter. Thank God. I ain't never thanked Elon Musk for nothing in my life. Thank you, Elon. Finally, he did something.
He called Elon, I'll buy 5 Teslas right now if you get her gone.
Every player on the team will buy blue checks. I swear for Lord they will. Please get her up off of me. I'm begging you, man. But Zion is requesting a trade, and the potential destinations are looking like either the Knicks, the Nets, or the Houston Rockets. Are those the places that y'all have heard as well? Have y'all heard of anywhere else?
I've only heard of those 3.
Okay. Somebody said that Zion and Ime in the same locker room. It's crazy. But with that being said,
hey, bro, chill on my team, dog.
Hey, but you know what though? At least they got rid of Daniel House because that big three, all right.
Hey, low key, but you KPJ there though. KPJ is there.
Hey, and you know what else is going on? Who's saying that they want to go back to Houston?
Chill.
I'm gonna start calling that team Bang Bros if they link up, boy.
What they say? You gonna make it stank in there? The locker room gonna be stinking in there every day.
I'm happy house gone.
But in all seriousness, how do y'all feel about Zion action for this trade? And is there a good spot for him to land?
There are good places for Zion to land, but with this current contract structure, just stay put in New Orleans, get your bread, rework on your reputation. Because any place that you would land, it's not going to be a better situation than you're already in with the Pelicans, who are a, borderline, if completely healthy, the Pelicans right now, I would say completely healthy are a 5-6 seed in the West without Zion.
I think healthy with Zion, I think they're a borderline contender.
Yeah, I'm saying even without Zion, take Zion out of the picture, they're still a 5-6 seed completely healthy. No other team that has the assets either going to flip their assets and not be as good as the Pelicans, or they have the money to blow, which is the reason they're not as good as the Pelicans. The Pelicans have a good roster. They have a good core around them. So if you're Zion, there's no other better situation for you while you're making a max contract.
That's fair. That's fair. Chris, what you thinking, man? What you thinking?
2 things here, right? When I think of this, I think of a franchise that probably needs to rebuild, but they're in a position where they can't rebuild, right? Or I think of a franchise that, they just need one piece that don't have to be healthy all the time, but can play in the playoffs, right? There's 2 teams that come to mind that Zion will be like a perfect drop in and they will be successful, right? So the first team is the Boston Celtics, right? He's already on a max deal that you got to pay Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown, he showed that he shouldn't be the max deal. You don't really need Zion to play that many games if he goes to Boston. And also, it keeps him in an area, and I know firsthand, a lot less distractions than New Orleans. A lot less distractions. Now, granted, Zion does pay for you to distract. Yeah, he do pay for you. He do pay for you to fly in and move there and all that. But I guarantee you, the prices in New York and Boston, he gonna think twice about that. I guarantee.
What did Lil B say? I pay. He was praying for it. He was paying for it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I get
it. Now, the second team, right? And y'all gonna call me crazy out my mind for this, right? But it's a team that's getting a new arena, right? To get out the basement of they older brother. They got an aging superstar in Kawhi Leonard who just tore his meniscus or ACL, whatever it was again. And you got Paul George who, he can't be your number one. You can go into a complete rebuild mode with the Clippers, and trade both of those assets to other teams and acquire Zion with remaining draft picks that you have. And now you have somebody that will help fill up that new arena still, because Zion is still like a mystery. He still got a lot of hype behind him. But now you can go into rebuild mode because you can afford to still open that new arena and still get fans in the arena, right? So, and you move up in the draft or something like that, trading Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So I think the Clippers need to do a rebuild. But, and I saw the way you looked at me, Giz. I wonder if you change your mind based on my approach to the Clippers. But I think him going,
I get you.
yeah, I think him going to the Clippers is a win-win for both of them, because it gets him out of New Orleans and it gets him to a team where he doesn't really have to play, just got to sell tickets. So,
and you know what? Based on your approach, it does make a lot more sense. I thought you was finna say, like, from a standpoint that keeps the Clippers competitive, which, like, again, them being competitive, those days are over. Those days are done. Those days are cooked. But I'll tell you what, you did make me think of a crazy scenario that could work out. I doubt it happens, but if you could get Chris, or if you could get Paul George to go, you trade 1-for-1 Zion and Paul George, and then you could also bring Chris Paul back. Like, listen, you're going to retire here. You're already a Hornets legend. You got a chance to win a chip. Because you would keep most of that team together. Like, you don't have to get rid of anything besides Zion. And you could potentially get, trade Zion in the first or two. And you could get, I don't know if you'd have the money to pay him, but you could get PG and Kawhi probably for that price. If, Zion in a couple first.
Well, yeah, Kawhi be out the whole year, but yeah, you could. Yeah.
And then you bring in Chris Paul too. And you got that as your core. Like, that is your... you got Chris Paul to trade
Brandon Ingram, TJ McCollum.
And that's what I'm saying. You got that is your team. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's
I don't know if the money
for
works.
both teams.
I don't know if the money works, but if you could
Kawhi and PG on max and Zion on super max. Chris Paul got waived, so his contract.
So yeah, and you bring Chris Paul back for like a mid-level exception. Like, listen, you're gonna retire here, and you're gonna have a chance to compete for a chip. Come on, do it. I'm just saying. I think that's a good spot.
I'm not gonna hold you, bro. If you see PG, Kawhi, Bi, Chris Paul, like, I know it's a lot of people who ain't did stuff individually, but there's no way you had that much talent on one squad to find a way to not get one chip, even if they old, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And Valanciunas is one of the more underrated bigs in the game. He's not on the Karl Anthony Towns best big in the league tier, but but I'll say this. Zion's best place is Bourbon Street. Sit your big tail down and get what you got to do right
he can't
to go
stop
play.
eating.
I don't care what his problem is. Let me say this. There is no better situation than New Orleans. If you go to New York, they will not have as long a leash for you on the Nets or the Knicks. They will be tired of your crap immediately. The Pelicans are tied to you because you are their number one pick. You are the guy that was supposed to be the savior of the franchise. You were supposed to be there for 15 years. Why do you think Anthony Bennett was in the NBA for 3 years? The Cavs had to hold him. He was their number one pick. He had to do something.
Yeah.
And mind you, Anthony Bennett was so bad. When he got drafted, everybody was scratching their head like, wait, what? Why him? And so they had to hold on to it. Zion, on the other hand, is the guy that everybody proclaimed was the best prospect since LeBron James. They gonna hold you. They gonna give you all the time you need. They done paid you the Supermax already. You've got time, brother. You're not gonna have that same time in either New York team. You're not gonna have in Houston. Houston don't give nobody time. Houston, they will get rid of you like that. Like that. They do not. What? Stay where you at, Zion. I know the grass always look greener somewhere else. I know the grass always look beautiful and green and lush over there. Ooh, they got Kentucky bluegrass over there. I like to lay down in that grass. That's some nice grass. You sure do got some nice. Brother, water your grass in New Orleans and make the best out of it. Because y'all got a squad there that could do something special if you stay on that court. They got a squad that can do something special. Stick there. Don't have no more drama associated with your name. Don't have no more. And we need to talk about this on a different date. but I have never seen as many NBA players have like mental blocks as like we're seeing right now. Because this is crazy. This is crazy. The amount of players who we're seeing that like can't play due to mental reasons is like, I don't think we've ever seen multiple players that like.
Hey, Gibbs. That's 2023. That's all it is. It's 2023.
I mean, that's
take
right. But
off
you
work.
know what's
I mean,
crazy?
it is, but at the same time, you also got a lot of old heads who's probably dealing with the same stuff. Who is just like,
Oh, and they
that don't matter to old heads.
Yeah, they just fell into something else though. They didn't
Right? Yeah.
like it wasn't like, oh, I just can't play because I feel bad. Like they trying to get the monkey off their back. You know what I mean? Like, but it's crazy to see 2 number 1 picks that close together that like both failed to mental health issues like this early in their career, and Ben Simmons and Zion. Like that's really crazy. But anywho, I know y'all tired of us talking about Zion waiting on Zion to play and waiting to see where he gets traded. But come on back the next week and the week after that and the week after that. Peace and love, y'all.